Check, check. Bear with us as we get started here with Q&A. I understand that they put some cookies out in the lobby, so look to the person next to you and tell them to go get you one.
Terrific. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Tom, are you there? Are you there, Tom? Hi, Masha. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, do you hear
Hi.
me? Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Good. Thank you
Very
for
well.
having me tonight.
Masha, you're joining us now from Moscow?
Yes?
Wonderful. How long have you been in Moscow in this visit or moment?
Now I live here. So at the end of my film, I left Moscow. I was in Georgia for a few months, and then I came back last summer, and I decided to stay. So I'm here almost a year now.
A return of some kind?
Yes.
Okay, now I think now I think this is working. I can hear you.
Hooray.
I can see you.
Hi, Tom.
Good.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Thank you. Hello.
Well, I think we are all taking our collective sighs of both anguish and joy. The ending of this film is so incredibly powerful and powerful the whole way through. So a collective breath might be necessary. But I know, Tomo, you've also obviously watched the Shards and have come prepared to speak with Masha a bit. Do you have a question to start off?
Hi. Во-первых, здравствуйте, Маша. Добро пожаловать, миссис. Спасибо за ваш очень правдивый, честный, личный фильм. Только чтобы начать на этом фоне. So thank you. I just wanted to welcome Masha to Mimesis and to say how much of a privilege I think it is for us to be able to watch as the opening of the festival such a personal, such a truthful, such an honest film. I think obviously it's hard to ask you questions after this film, Masha, because it feels like you're so generous and so transparent with us. You know, you put such a big part of yourself up for review, basically on the big screen. You offer yourself to us in this way, and I think it's really courageous to even speak after such a screening, since you are such a big part of the film. There are many things that were going on through my mind as I was watching the film, and then later when I was thinking about this conversation. But maybe I should start with a hard question, actually. I think there are.
Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. There are echoes in this film of your film goes over geographies. We go to Moscow, we go to Kaliningrad, we see the fleet, the sailors. We get this sense maybe that you're moving from one neighborhood to another, you're moving through architecture, but you're also moving through time, right? And we know that in the past, especially the past 3 years, for so many people from Russia, Russia also became part of their past. It's not only a geographic place, a place that exists somewhere on a map, or where some things maybe have happened, or some things that you remember, but you have this thing, right? Это было в России, значит было давно. So what is it like to you to reconsider this film now that some time has passed from those events, from even the time you locked picture, you finished the film? And I know now you're maybe preparing other projects, or you're back in Russia, but temporally, where are you at with this film right now? Is it fully part of your past, or is this something that is in the present with you?
Thank you for this question, but I think the answer couldn't be simple. This conception of Russia as some place in the past, I know it's very common, but mostly amongst people who had to leave country. And they feel like this place doesn't exist anymore. But I'm here now, so I admit that it exists, and I hope that it still exists. But it's just split it in many bubbles. And in a way, I chose to my own safe bubble, and I think that's how people keep living here, even if they don't agree with the government politics. So yeah, you just concentrate on your circle and on the stuff you're doing. And this is the inner emigration and this tradition we have actually since the USSR times. This phrase comes from those times. And about the film, it's also difficult to answer, because on the one hand, it is my past, and I'm happy that I finished this film, because it was a little bit torturous to edit all this chaos. And it felt like I was ill for 2.5 years, and now I'm free of this illness. But at the same time, like every week I walk around and I feel like I could actually keep filming and make the Shards 2, the Shards 3. So actually, initially it had to be serious, documentary series. And my colleagues and some producers I knew, everybody told me that I shouldn't make this project this way, because nobody would know how to. There are no good festivals for series still. It's weird in 2025, but it's true. And yeah, I was told like you should try to make the feature film. But if it would be serious, I could just keep making new episodes of it, because I still see stuff that matches this universe of the Shards. So it exists somewhere. I just say to myself, like, no, don't shoot it. You have to make another film, new films.
I wonder what the experience of traveling with this film has been like, and sending it into the world. Is it a, oh, please.
Interesting. Actually, the story of this film is a miracle, because nobody was optimistic about the future of the Shards, because it seemed for documentary filmmakers I know, like it's too vague for foreigners. Like foreign audience wouldn't get that. I don't know, wouldn't get my position, or wouldn't get any specific facts. And people were saying that I have to put some titles and I don't know, some explanations, like this is this city, or it's this year, or this is the funeral of this person, and this is the funeral of this person. And I completely refused to do that. And I'm happy that that was my choice, because it ended up very happily, because actually for an audience, at least it seemed like that for me, after all Q&As in various countries, like people were grateful, because I didn't treat them as kids. Like I treat them as grown-ups who could make their own conclusions, who can have their own feelings. So I don't push them to like, this is black, this is white. I really didn't want to do that. And actually there was some, like, people needed it. They wanted to see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was unexpected, absolutely. So I was shocked, and I think I'm still shocked that the film travels, and sometimes I travel with the film, and people are actually very supportive.
I'm also so glad that you did not follow instruction to give more information and detail. I think you both held our hands and led us somewhere without being so heavy-handed in that way. It was really it's a cathartic experience that we share with you. Jamal?
So thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Masha. So I was actually even considering listening to you right now, how much this film is also about the kind of map that you create. You take us, maybe some of us know or are more connected to this personally, maybe some of us not, but it feels like in the film you have this concern, even from the moment you film, from the decisive moment of where you point your camera, and how you, from behind the camera, often interact with people on the other side. There's not really a divide. We get this sense always that you are participating in the events. You're not hiding your traces. You're not the kind of proverbial fly on the wall of the observational cinema. But you're also stopping short of provoking people. You're doing this interesting game where you allow people to be themselves and to be in your company through your camera. But it feels like the more you do this, you kind of chart a sort of public space and civil society, and you take ownership of it. Even when you're not maybe invited, no one tells you, go film this demonstration, or go film this protest, or go film at this parade or at this concert, but you do that. And by doing that, it feels like in the film itself, you're kind of advocating or showing us why it's important to have this basic right, and why it's important to have this prerogative to constitute, to separately, individually, but also together, collectively, a civil society and the public space that we can all access and that we can all contribute to. So I was wondering, in the editing, given that you had this approach in your filming, that you're very kind of engaged and concerned, preoccupied of the things around you, how did you think about geography and the succession of spaces, and this kind of journey that you take us on from, from a basement to a square and to a living room, and then into the past with your parents, and then to a funeral? How did that work in the editing room?
I will try to explain. So at the beginning, it was just some pieces because I started to film everything because I felt like I have to, because it's my duty now to capture the history moments and history changing in front of my eyes. And I didn't have any plan. I didn't have any conception or structure. I just wanted to have some, I was carrying camera around every day. And then my own life started to change dramatically. And I realized that camera helps to, I don't know, to psychologically survive, because it protects. Then I was editing and filming at the same time for 2.5 years. So after first sessions of editing, I started to think that probably I will have to put myself as a character, which is actually quite challenging for me because I like self-documentary, auto-documentary genre, but I also was thinking that it's not something for me because I don't like myself in front of camera. That's why I'm hiding behind it, because I don't like to be in the frame. And it was difficult for me, but I felt like probably this is the only way to combine all these pieces, like the spine, and I will place everything on this line of this character. And actually, I think that the Shards, it's not author documentary. It's just partly like that. It pretends to be that, but it's not enough pieces of myself in this film to feel like it's self-portrait. I don't feel like it's self-portrait. It's just perspective, or I don't know,
Glimpses, small moments.
So I was kind of forced by the materials and by my own mood, I don't know, to make it personal and to place myself there. And then it came to the part with my past, with this tapes from 90s from my dad, because I wanted to show my family more, and because I needed some balance, this chapter with my mom's funeral. I didn't want it to be really harsh. I didn't want it to be I wanted something light and even maybe funny to create the balance. And also I felt this history repeating itself, like the time of crisis again. But I was a very happy child, actually. Like 90s for me, it was wonderland. My parents were concentrated on surviving, and I had great time, of course, because I was a kid, and my parents actually were loving each other at that time for very brief period. And it, like in nowadays, in my time, which I show in the film, people also try to live their lives and try to love each other or dance or be happy, and other people could judge them for that. But I don't think that, I just don't know what else they can do, actually. And about the geography, everybody says about this comparison, like public spaces and public events and some private, I don't know, kitchens or underground circles. I didn't think about it when I was editing and filming, actually, because it's too obvious for me. I didn't want to create this like this level and this level, and there was only one thing that came up at the editing process. I was thinking a lot about descent, about going downstairs somewhere. So it became some kind of a metaphor, also shallow, but I was thinking about it a lot. Because there is this episode with my mom when we go to the basement, and it was just accidentally shot a few years before the war started and a few years before mom died, and I just discovered it on my computer, and I was surprised. And this going underground, meaning the underground scene, and going to basements literally. And actually there was even the whole chapter in like early rough cuts. The chapter was about me with like there is digger subculture, you know about it, I think. The people who go illegally in these underground systems under the cities. In Russia, of course, we also have it. And actually, like they became even more illegal now. It's really dangerous to do that, but people still do that. And I was thinking that I have to make this metaphor like the worst. I don't know. I wanted to show it in a very direct way. Like I'm going to underground metaphorically, and then we really literally go to the underground under Moscow, and we did it in winter time, also illegally at night in old underground river system. It's very beautiful, and these people, these diggers, they are also very interesting people. It was nice chapter, but it was it didn't match the rhythm of the other material. It was just very like, I don't know, I forgot the word for it. Not outstanding, but it just stick out. It felt like something different from other movie. That's why I had to get rid of it. And I have a dream that I wish that someday I could make some, I don't know, website with all this side materials like Blu-ray extra bonus tracks, because I have a bunch of material which was great or important in terms of history, but it just didn't match the whole rhythm of the film. And but it exists in the same circle of characters and in the same universe. So maybe one day, I will publish it.
Oh, I think we are ready to take questions from the audience here at the festival. Is anyone prepared with one? If so, there's a mic ready.
Привет, Маша, это Катя, я тебе писала в Инстаграме.
Привет.
Thank you so much for what you did and what you're doing, for being where you are, to witness and to document. Something that really stood out to me in your approach of representing these processes is like portraying like Russia at this moment is like a very, very loud space, like almost cacophonous. And it just seems that you're like really drawn to this like pieces of music you hear around. So what is the role of music to you in like processing this? Why are you drawn to this?
I think the answer is very simple. I felt like this, of course, the underground scene existed, I don't know, always. Probably every country has it. And of course, we had it before. But in 2022, it blossomed, especially in Moscow. It was something crazy, and now it changed. I feel like many places, they don't exist anymore, and many people left or stopped doing their crazy shows. But yeah, the first year was absolutely, I don't know, it was crazy. And when I was in underground circles when I was young, but at some point I got bored by it. It didn't have anything new for me, and it was just routine. Just yeah, people repeating some subcultural signs and showing their, I don't know, good merch and T-shirts. So I left in a way the circles, but you can't leave completely if you were punk. So yeah, in 2022 I came back to the circles because I felt that something's going on there, something interesting, and I really felt like they have this rage, this anger, which I had myself for my personal reasons and for my for political reasons. And these people, they just found this way and place to outburst this oppressed feelings, and I felt strong connection, and I also was dancing there, and yeah, it felt like some weird medicine, although it looks very often as something aggressive or not safe or evil. I don't know, but yeah, in a strange way, it was something bright in this darkness.
Спасибо.
Thank you so much for doing this Q&A. I wanted to ask, is it at all strange for you to almost touring the film on the festival circuit, to be constantly thinking about this section and this period of time in your life so intently and so much over this period of time, while you're still living a life and still experiencing new stuff? Does that at all, how does that shape you? How does that feel?
Can you please repeat? I'm not sure if I understood it correctly. Like, am I already, isn't it too much talking about the same harsh period of time of my life for me because of festivals, or I didn't get it correctly?
Mostly, yes. Yeah, that was basically what I was getting at.
Actually, the film was released less than a year ago, so I'm not sick of it yet, but very 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 soon. I feel it somewhere close. Yeah, but yeah, it still feels fine.
Maybe the button on the side.
I'm interested in the way that you shot the film. It felt like you weren't looking through a camera, like maybe you had a screen, but the feeling I got from the film came a lot from the chaotic, raw, handheld, almost swimming through scenes. And I wondered if you had to teach yourself intentionally to shoot that way, or is that your normal style, or how did you come to filming that way?
Thank you for this question. Of course, I didn't learn this filming style on purpose. At the beginning, it was this style came from this film, and now actually I feel like it's a bad habit, because I still have the same camera and I still have the same lens, which is Soviet lenses. It's very, like, you can distinguish it, and I now I'm used to film this way, this very, like, chaotic and shaky camera, emotional camera, and I really want to invent some new language for the new goals for new films. But I think that initially, when I started to film, it was just something natural or intuitive. It was my intuition. And yeah, it was because of technical reasons also, because the Soviet lenses, I have it not only because I like the image, the picture, but also because I'm poor. So the Soviet lenses, it's almost trash. In Russia, you can get it for free or for, I don't know, $50. That's how I got it. And the camera, it's not so bad, but also it's quite cheap. And the Soviet lenses, they didn't match the camera, and that's why it's shaky, because it doesn't stabilize. The camera couldn't stabilize this, and the Soviet lens was made for photography. That's why the focus is absolute hell. So you have to, it's infinite. You just do this, and that's why the focus is so, like, yeah, it's breathing. Somebody could say, but somebody could say it's just bad filming, which became my style. So very quickly I understood that I actually like this manner, and I concentrate. I forced it. I like increase this manner. I don't know how to say. So yeah, I decided it will be my style for this film. So it comes from some, I don't know, circumstances, from my lack of experience and some technical stuff, from intuition. Yeah, and now I want to invent something new.
It feels incredibly intentional throughout. It really wraps up.
Probably I should be more smart person and just say that, yeah, I was learning how to do that for months. So I will answer like that the next time I will be asked about this.
Thank you. We have another question in the audience.
Yeah, and that leads to my question. What are you working on now? Are you already on a next project? Do you have ideas? What are you thinking?
To be honest, I'm not the most logical person, I think, because the most logic strategy now would be to come up with some new documentary project and to pitch it somewhere in Europe, because now I have this like piece of attention to myself and to my film, and this is the best time for doing that. But it just it doesn't feel right for me, and also this film, yeah, after doing the film like that, you feel empty for some time at least. And also I was absolutely depressed when I got the first success of this film. I felt absolutely like the worst. I didn't expect that. It was wonderful. This year was wonderful, interesting time. And yeah, I actually want to make fiction films, and I want to make it for a while, and it was my like big goal before the war started. And then I was desperate because I didn't know how to do that, because it's almost impossible for me to start this kind of career in Europe, because I'm Russian and because I have no much experience in this. I have some short films, but still it's not like I'm not so experienced, and I'm not going to get the governmental money from Russian Ministry of Culture, because I just don't want to. And not that they are running after me with their money, of course. Like, I think it's mutual feelings. So yes, and it's it's not so easy to make the fiction film without like partisan way as I made this film. But now I feel like somehow. Yeah, maybe it's crazy, maybe it's just how faith works. Yeah, I have this feeling that I will find some private finance money.
Yeah, financier.
Yes.
Yeah, money.
Yes, money. Yeah, and I don't need a very big budget, and I actually think that it's not for the beginners. It's a bad thing to have a huge budget. So yeah, I'm working on my script. I also have the full length fiction film scripts, but I don't want to make my old ones. I'm writing something new.
Fantastic.
So if I could just kind of loop back to some things you've mentioned so far in the Q&A about how much the underground art culture in Moscow influenced you and this film and very much shaped the style and form of it. I'm just wondering, now that you've returned to Moscow and have space to take on a new project, how you're relating to and perceiving the current art culture in Moscow and how that might influence you going forward, and just kind of how you perceive that coming out of being influenced by the underground culture of 2022 so much.
I don't actually distinguish it so accurate, like 2022 underground culture, 2023 or 25. It's the linear process for me. It's still things still going on. I don't know. I just said that it became less crazy, and many places are closed now. Many bands not releasing anything now. I was influenced by this culture since I was 15 or 14. So, and I keep getting some inspiration from it. And I think it will influence, and it already influenced my previous films, and it will influence my fiction films. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't get the whole question correctly, or I just don't have many words to say about it.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Can I intervene? Sorry, I
Please.
realize I'm there big on the screen, so I don't want to be wasting the space so much. I wanna ask you, Masha, and I think it's in the interest of our conversation. I know you also studied poetry, and I bet you also write. There's a strong sense in the film, for me at least, there was such a strong evocation of all kinds of, let's say, utopian or poetic projects. I don't know. I thought of cosmism, and I thought of resurrection and immortality for everyone. Right? You kind of think about that. It's so present. Death is just as present as almost resurrection or afterlife, this sense. And then the kind of the buildings, the basements of the buildings that are, falling down, or they're almost destroyed. The human interpersonal relations are kind of falling down. It felt very symbolist to me. It felt like, that very good French symbolist poetry of the late 19th century, really evocative. The flowers, the tomb, all this threshold of life and death. What role does poetry play in your practice? And is there poetry that might have inspired this film or might inspire you in your everyday life as an author?
Thank you for this question. This question is sad for me, actually, because I was reading the poetry a lot, and I studied poetry just for a short period of time, but yeah. And my parents are connected to literature also, and I had my own like poetry book, but it was more than 10 years ago, and I still write sometimes, but much less than before. And I almost don't read poetry last years, and I almost don't read books in general last years, and it's awful, but it's my confession. And yeah, so of course it influenced me a lot, also because we are shaped, we could be shaped when we are young. And yeah, it was my passion when I was young. And I feel like it influences the editing a lot, because it's almost the same. I like editing. Many people, they hate, many directors, they don't touch the editing table. Yeah, because you just sit in front of your laptop, and I love it. Of course, it's frustrating. Sometimes I hate it, but you try to find the poetry or the rhymes between some unexpected pieces. And yeah, some people say that it's not a good thing for documentary filmmaker. Like, you shouldn't play with metaphors and symbols too much, because it's, I don't know, I'm not sure if I agree. Like, the Russian documentary filmmaking school is very hardcore. I don't know if you know something about it, but yeah, it's mostly, it's totally the fly on the wall. And like harsh reality, but it's always not the truth. It's always subjective. It's stupid to pretend like we're showing the life. It's bullshit. So why not yeah, concentrated on some poetry? And also, I think this is the way of how I think, or how I see, or how I survive. Because like, for instance, this episode with my mom's coughing and a petal of a flower, of course I didn't make it. It just happened. It happened, but me as a person, I couldn't do not like, it was impossible for me to do not see it, and to do not film it, and to do not place it in the film. And it was very strong moment for me. It was very, yeah, it helped me to survive also. Yeah, so I'm very romantic person, maybe. That's how I feel, that's how I live. That's why yeah, so it could seem as some poetry, but it just happens. Yeah, real life gives you all this symbols and stuff, and I think that there were much more symbols or metaphors in the rough cuts, but I had to delete many of it, because I also didn't want it to be too, it's more than enough already. Yeah, so you have to be careful with this.
Hello.
Other question in the
I
audience?
think we've got to
We're at our
move on out
time.
of our venue here.
Okay.
Hi, Masha. Eric from email. It's
Hi,
great to
Eric
meet you.
from email.
I just wanted to say thank you to Toma. Toma is a dear friend and advisor of the festival, and has helped us every year since Mises has been operating. So thank you, Toma, for the conversation, and thank you so much, Masha,
Thank you
for
Masha.
joining us
Thank you.
so early in the morning, all the way in Russia. Thank you so much for making the effort to come and join us this evening. This was an amazing opening night, a banger, as the programming team would describe it. We're so thrilled that you were able to have a conversation with us tonight. Thank you
Thank
so
you. It was a
much.
pleasure.
Can't wait to see what's next. Thank you. Thank you, Toma. bag, please find them at the table to the right of the door, and hope to see y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m. here. Same station.